Hey everybody, it is Uncle Mike and it is July the 6th, 2021, maybe 2020. The timelines are getting weird. And I am here with my friend, Emily Moyer. Now, a few of you may be aware that Emily and I, for the past year, have been recording every week in a variety of different titles of shows, the Project Kid shows, the Playing the Glass Bead shows. And occasionally I provide the links here on YouTube to where those shows are available. They're all available on Emily's YouTube channel. And so we've recently decided that we're going to upload the entire archive of the shows, which we've done over the past year. We're going to put it here on this, on my channel here. So to give a little bit of a context for those of you who have not watched any of those episodes, I want to introduce Emily, and Emily will go and give a little bit of explanation of what will happen. So Emily, I would like to introduce you to everybody.
Hi, everybody. And thank you, Michael. So, the main reason we're doing this is because I continue to receive messages that people were not aware of the Project Kids or the Playing the Glass Bead Game series, and that they had only kind of found my channel based on me being on the Trilateral Commission shows with you and Howdy. And I received enough of those that I'm like, okay, my channel is a smaller channel because I used to be on someone else's channel that was bigger. So you have a little bit bigger of an audience. It's possible that those people hadn't, heard of me. And I mean, it's certainly possible, but we decided to make it available here so that people can catch up on everything we've been doing for the last year. And Michael and I met each other, I think it was the first week of the lockdown when Steve Mercer, Freeman's producer, brought Michael along to my conspiracy cocktail event, and we just hit it off. And so we've recorded upwards of, I think, 30 or 40 shows over the course of the last year. And those shows sort of track the sort of development of a friendship, and then sort of an informational connection, and this thing started to be built that started to show the interconnectedness. As we build our interconnectedness, it started to build around us, and it developed into what we now do, which is called Playing the Glass Bead Game, or Glass Bead Play. And so the Project Kids series was originally every other week, and now it's once a month. That is a series that has a public portion and then a patrons portion. And then from there, we began a weekly series called Playing the Glass Bead Game. That is a patron or a supporter only series. There are public clips that are made available on YouTube, but it's a pretty intense dive into all sorts of information. And we also share a lot of things from our personal lives. And so that's kind of a little bit separated, but certainly it's open and available to anybody who would like to sort of join that group. I'm going to post all of the public content here on Michael's channel over the course of the next couple of weeks. I'll probably post one show a day on the days that I work. I take some days away from the computer like Michael, but I'll post everything here. And within the shows, there are links to where you can find any of the content that is not public. And if you decide you like our material, there's a couple of ways that you can support us in that. There is a segment on my Patreon that is called the Project Kids segment. So if you go to patreon.com/offplanetmedia and join at the Project Kids level, you will get all of the Project Kids content, all of the Playing the Glass Bead Game content, as well as my personal content. And you also have access to what we call the Project Kids Social Club, which is people who like this material and enjoy sort of tying together all of these synchronicities and playing the game and whatnot, meet up and hang out as you would sort of in a cafe. Michael doesn't tend to participate in that, but we've talked about him maybe doing that going forward. I'm there frequently. Sometimes I'm not there. Sometimes it's just the members playing with each other, but it's actually turned into something really cool. And sometimes we also generate some extra content from that. And that material is all available at that level. If you're only interested in the content and not the interactive experience, you can become a supporter at projectkids.locals.com. And there you'll get all Project Kids and all Playing the Glass Bead Game show content. And we have something that we're working on going forward that will be another way of receiving the material. We're not quite ready to debut that yet, but that will probably be coming towards the end of me posting all of the shows here. So stay tuned for that. All of the links to the things that I've talked about today are going to be in the description box below this video. And you can also feel free to reach out to me for any questions, or if you would like a sample episode of playing the Glass Bead Game. I'm going to put one up. I'll put the first one that we ever did up publicly so people can get an idea of that. But if there's one that just sort of like takes your, like the title of it or the little clip, like it's like, oh my God, I have to hear this, we offer a complimentary episode. And you can also get a complimentary day at the cafe to see if that's your date, if that's something you'd like to do. So my email address will be in the description box below. Please feel free to reach out. Sometimes I take a few days to respond, but I always get back to everybody. And anything else you want to say, Michael?
Yeah, I want to say a bunch of stuff.
All right, cool.
So first off, like, what is Project Kids? What does that title make reference to?
So I think when we started it, you had said that you liked this thing that I always refer to as Project Kids, where I'm talking about people who were pulled into projects like MK Ultra or whatever kinds of projects when they were kids. We refer to them as Project Kids. So you liked that and you kind of wanted to play around that idea when we first started doing a show.
So undoubtedly. So I think that's one of the things which I've noticed from the people who like to watch our dynamic, our dance, is like, everyone's like, I look back in my history, I'm like, yeah, I was at some weird places. Like, was I part of some of these projects? Did I participate in any of this testing unbeknownst to myself or even my parents? And so, like, that seems to be like this environment which we've created seems to pull in people who are like that, who are like, wow, like, what my seemingly normal childhood maybe had a greater depth than what I had anticipated. There's that. And then and it began with that. It began like, we started talking about different topics, and then it became looser and looser in terms of, it became almost, at least from my perspective, of more of a spontaneous sort of like research and idea, like improv game. And so you would say something, and then I would start thinking. And so there's a rawness to it, but there's a realness to it, particularly as it relates to like the research and all of this sort of stuff, because you're seeing it happen in real time in the shows. And, some people like to see how the sausage is being made. Like, this is what it looks like, because I know a lot of the topics which we have discussed spontaneously were the seeds, which then became like the presentations I would do on a more formal basis on YouTube here. So that may be appealing to people. And then Glass Bead Game, that is a play on the book by Herman Hesse, which is all about the interconnectivity of reality. And so we really embrace that in terms of like going about looking at reality and finding the interconnections in ways which are seemingly not obvious. But when you start to look at connections in ways which are not obvious, in the most basic level, like, you're getting new neuron paths, all that sort of stuff. So that's what I think is the fun of watching and also participating in the episodes and shows which we do together. It's been a lot of fun, Emily. It's a lot more fun for me to go and talk to someone rather than just, talk to a computer box.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely like a highlight of my week is like, this is my day to play the Glass Bead Game with Michael. And then the response, once we put the shows up, to people and finding the connections from what we've talked about into their own lives. And then the feedback generates the next round of some of the play. And I think that, we weren't quite sure where we were going with this when we started, but it keeps leading us to ideas of time travel, dimensional travel, like, creation of other realities, spending time in something that seems outside of our normal reality. And I actually think that what we're developing is the thing that is going to be the solution to all of the problems we have been trained to focus on through our time in the conspiratorial alternative research community, right? Like I don't think we're going to end political corruption in the world. I don't think we're going to, stop the cabal or whatever. But I think that like through engaging in this kind of play and discovering the way that the world really works, as opposed to the way we've been trained to believe it works, then those control systems become increasingly irrelevant in your life, to the point that sometimes I forget for a little bit that they even exist.
I would say the world falls within reality. Like we're playing with reality, and the world is the ARG, which they're presenting to us on the box, and like they've created the culture around. So definitely it's a lot of fun. And I'm not your first Pennsylvania co-host, am I?
You're not my first Pennsylvania co-host. I seem to have this taste for the boys from Pennsylvania to explore reality with. And yeah, no, I mean, before I worked with you, I was for many years on Off Planet Radio with Randy Moggins. And a lot of the things that I learned from he and I sharing our stories with each other and exploring topics and guests together have helped me to identify when I'm looking at something that appears to be one thing, but not only is it really something else, it's actually many other things, right? And I definitely appreciate all that I learned from him and from that experience, and it continues to play into discoveries that you and I are making all the time. And there does seem to be some very, very strange connection between Southern California and this area that you both grew up in and live in now, which would be the sort of Pennsylvania, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland kind of area.
We folks over here call it the Mid-Atlantic.
The Mid-Atlantic, which I had my moment in as well, as when I was in the gymnastics team at West Virginia University. So we kind of play with those ideas a lot. And I also take a lot of the topics that you and I discover and then explore them and flesh them out in other ways with other people that I do shows with. I've gotten to the point that sometimes I can't even remember what I talked about on which show with who, right? But it's kind of fun, and people seem to be able to follow the connections and pick up wherever they do and whatnot. So this has been one of the most exciting, entertaining, sort of meaningful experiences of my life working with you, and I look forward to continuing it for I don't think we have any idea what time is anymore, so I don't want to say for a long time to come, but in multiple ways, in multiple realities, on multiple timelines, for as long as you and I choose to play. So
there we go. And I also want to give my gratitude to you, Emily, because none of this stuff would happen if it wasn't for you, because that's why you're uploading this on the channel, because when it comes right down to it, there's a lot of things I don't take care of, and the IRS will be the first one who'll tell you about that. So I'm grateful for all of the structure which you're providing for it. I hope some more folks go and watch the shows. They're fun. It's a joy for me to go and do this and to further this strange journey which we are on together.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So that will be coming over the next couple of weeks. I hope you enjoy the content. We'd love to hear back from you. Have a wonderful day. All right.